What's up, family? What's up? What's up? Welcome to day 8 of our Action 2025 challenge. We are going to be having this for 21 days. I hope you are getting something. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. I want you to take a minute or two to invite someone. I want you to take a minute or two to just share this link with someone so that they can join us and so we can talk about what it is that we have today. I have something amazing I want to share with you. And so I want you to just take a minute and invite someone so that we can have this conversation. So please do so. If you are watching on any of the social media platforms, you can use those to share them on your statuses. You just share them with someone, just as I'm doing right now, and let someone know to join us, either on Facebook or on YouTube. So super excited today. I hope you guys had an amazing day. I hope you guys are ready, getting ready. Today is day 12 of December, and so we are getting really close to the end of the year. So I want you to make sure that you're getting your preparations in. So share. Action 2025. I'm just gonna get the link myself and share with someone, because I know there are people who are watching. I know there are people who are benefiting from these videos. So we're gonna start here in 1 minute, and I'll try to keep it brief. So I'm just gonna jump into our conversation for today. Again, I hope you are doing well. If you're watching, just I want you to comment and just say Action 2025. That's our slogan. That's what we are rooting for in 2025. We're going to take action on our goals, our dreams. We're going to take action on our purpose. And so I want you to have that at the back of your mind, at the front of your mind. Throughout this time, we're going to be talking about that. And again, I know there are people who are already taking action on their goals, on their purpose, on their dreams. But I know that a lot of people who still can do more, and a lot of people who say, I even want to start, I want to take the first step. And so this is for you. This is for anyone who has a plan to be better in 2025 or to do better in 2025. So yesterday we were talking about having a healthy self perspective, and today we're talking about how to deal with discouragement, low self-esteem, just feeling weighed down when you start on a project, when you start taking action on your goals and dreams, and the things that you have planned. As you start going along the way, you feel one of the obstacles that you feel is discouragement. It's low self-esteem, lack of confidence, and you feel like, I cannot do this, I don't want to do this. And so today we're talking about how do we deal with that, so that we continue going, and so that we make sure that we take action on our goals and we finish well. And the first thing is to acknowledge our emotions. Acknowledge our emotions, acknowledge our thoughts, acknowledge what is going on inside of us in that moment. Sometimes, and some people are not good at acknowledging their emotions. They are not good at acknowledging what is happening. And most times, because of the busyness of life and society, most times, because of the busyness and the fast paced nature of our culture, or of our space in which we find ourselves, most people do not stop to take time to say, how am I feeling? How am I doing today? What's going on inside of me? We quickly can shut it off by just scrolling mindlessly, or watching a show, or just hanging out and trying to shut that off. Some people use alcohol, some people use drugs. Someone says, what is your high? So many times, and in our society, in our day and age, we have found a lot of ways to cope with discouragement, cope with not feeling good, cope with emotions that are not good. And many of those coping mechanisms are not the best, because in the short term they can help, but in the long term they do not. That is why you see a lot of CEOs or big people who are taking action, celebrities, or people who are crushing it. Sometimes you hear, oh, this person was on drugs, they dealt with overdose, they dealt with one thing or the other, because they did not find ways to deal with their emotions correctly, the way to deal with discouragement, or negative emotions, thoughts that came in the way. They kept on finding ways to suppress it rather than dealing with them, and later on it blows off. So the first thing that we want to do is to be sensitive enough to realize and acknowledge those emotions. When you do that, that is something that happens internally. That's something that happens with you. That is something that nobody can make you do. Somebody can encourage you, but the truth is that you have to come to that place of realization and be like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what is going on inside of me. And then when you do that, you can talk about it to someone. You can express your concerns where you are with someone. But the first step is acknowledging those emotions, because when you acknowledge them, then you can find ways to start dealing with them. The second thing then is how to deal with those emotions. You can use motivation. So maybe you're feeling discouraged, you do not want to do work on this task anymore, because maybe you tried and you failed, or you tried and you keep hitting roadblocks. How can I find motivation in the middle of my task? Either by listening to other people's stories, again, talking to a trusted friend, talking to a therapist, or reading inspiring stories, watching inspiring documentaries or stories of people who have overcome similar challenges. Finding ways to stay motivated and encourage yourself. The first thing is you acknowledge it, and then you start finding ways to get the motivation. For those who are people of faith, there is a story about the king called David, who went to battle, and his wives and his children and those who they had left behind were captured. And in that moment, the soldiers and everyone came to him and attacked him, and they were disappointed, they were discouraged, they were furious, they were wroth, and he was broken, he was heartbroken. He had just come back from a big battle, and in that moment he was alone. He was discouraged, he felt bad, he felt low, and cast down. And the Bible says that he encouraged himself in the Lord. He asked the Lord, should I go after these people who have come and attacked us? Should I pursue them? And he got a word from the Lord, and he encouraged himself in the Lord. So he found motivation in the presence of the Lord. He found motivation from God. So where do you find motivation? You have to know, because motivation can be gotten from places that are not sustainable. We talked about the use of drugs, we talked about the use of alcohol, people who drink themselves to sleep and all of, and then they wake up the next day, they pop pills here and there. But the truth is that those solutions again are not sustainable. So, where are you going to find motivation matters. You can talk to the wrong people, or you can talk to the right people. You can talk to people who are going to encourage you and people who are going to help you and build you up and encourage you. The third thing is that you have to learn to say no. Most times, discouragement too can come from the fact that boundaries are not set. If you do not set boundaries as you're going into 2025, the things that you want to do, you will not be able to accomplish them. You'll have to be able to say, okay, this is the time that I've set to do this, and you maintain that time, and you learn to say no. You learn to protect that time. You have to protect time that you set for yourself, for your self-care, for your rest. This one is very important. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about even myself and how I have to be more intentional with putting time to rest, and how sometimes, I would have to set boundaries to rest so that I can feel revived. But one of the things is I am getting better at being conscious and sensitive with what's going on with me when I'm feeling discouraged, because sometimes discouragement or low self-esteem comes just from you being burnt out, and not even because things are not going well. Things could even be going so well, but because you don't have good boundaries, you're not taking care of self, you find yourself burnt out, overwhelmed, and then discouraged. So you have to find a way to say no to things that will interrupt your rest, to things that will interrupt the time you have kept for yourself. Either it's your time for self-care, it's your time to refuel, or even it's your time to work. Because one of the things is, if even when you set time to do your work, you let it continuously be interrupted, you will feel discouraged because you're not doing what you wanted to do. So make sure that you're setting good boundaries, time to rest, time to work, so that you can have maximum productivity and you can achieve the goals that you set for yourself. The fourth thing is that even when you're feeling discouraged, you have to take action. You have to learn to take action. Just like when we talk the story about David. Even though David was discouraged, even though David felt overwhelmed, tired from a battle, and his family, his wives, his children had been taken captive, even though he was discouraged in that moment, first of all, he went to the Lord, he asked, inquired of the Lord, he got a word, and then he got out and pursued the enemies. So even when you're feeling discouraged, and when he pursued the enemies, he overtook them, he recovered all. He recovered his families, he plundered the enemies. So what am I saying? Even when you are discouraged, even when you're feeling weak, even when you're feeling overwhelmed, find a way to encourage yourself and take action still. Because by so doing, you're reframing your mind, you're reframing your thoughts, your actions, you're reframing yourself from just doing things when it's comfortable. You're reframing yourself from doing things when you feel good to doing things because they need to be done. That's one of the things that, in your growth, in your maturity, you have to learn how to, even I'm learning that no matter how I feel, I know that there are things that have to be done. If I gave my word, I try to make sure that I do it even when it's difficult. But remember, when you learn how to say no, when you learn how to properly set boundaries, it will help you to manage what you're taking in. It will help you to manage what you're saying yes to, so that you don't get to that place where you're feeling consistently overwhelmed. Mind you, there'll be times where you're overwhelmed. It's normal, it's life. There are peaks, there are lows. Think about a student going to school. There are times when their studies go on, but then there are finals. In that time, it's almost like you're going to be overwhelmed, because everyone is having exams, and there's so much that has to be done. But the truth is, if you've studied consistently over time, if you prepared yourself, even though you might be overwhelmed for a week or two, but after that you're going to be good, you're going to be fine, because you're going to get over that hump. So that's not to say there's not going to be times of overwhelmedness, but it's not a consistent everyday overwhelmedness. That is not sustainable. That's a recipe for burnout. So you have to learn to take action despite fear, despite discouragement, because when you do that, you wire yourself, you reframe your mind to understand that you have to take action regardless. You have to continue to take action, to show up. I did a video one time that was the myth of perfect conditions. And in that video, I was saying you are not always going to have perfect conditions to do the things that you have to do. But every time you have to continue to show up. And as you continue to show up, some days you're going to show up at 100%, some days you're going to show up at 50%. But as long as you keep showing up, you're going to achieve your goals. And then the last but not the least is that you have to take care again of your physical well-being. In this one, I'm talking mostly about, again, food, the things that you consume, your rest, again, is absolutely very important. But, sometimes if you don't take the right amounts of food or the right nutrition, I did promise that I'm going to have someone come and talk to us about nutrition as we're getting into 2025. But if you do not have the right nutrition, the right balance of food, of nutrients, of minerals in your body, you're going to feel really discouraged sometimes just because of the drop in hormone levels. And for women, that can happen many times based on the cycle and all of that. But just having that awareness, even if you're a woman, of your cycle and what is going on, is going to help you to understand, when it's best for you to plan certain things, certain tasks, if you feel low in energy. Again, if you are somebody who is more productive in the morning, or somebody who is more productive at night, that's going to help you to figure out when it's best to do your tasks. But taking care of your physical well-being is going to help you to manage discouragement. Incorporate fasting in your life. Incorporate fasting in your life. It's going to help your body to clean up toxins, is going to help your body to regulate itself, and you're going to feel more energized. Yes, during fasting, usually the first, second, third day, or first, second day, you could feel weak, but generally after that, you always feel better. You feel clear-headed. There was one video I watched one time, and one guy, he's actually a rapper, and he said he fasts for 40 days. I was so challenged. I was like, you fasting 40 days? Christians, I know we fast 40 days. I know a lot of people fast 40 days or 21 days at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year. But that's something very important that can help to clean up your body and, from toxins, from things that make you weak and lack energy. Those also can make you very discouraged because of the hormonal imbalance, the toxins and everything. But when you eat healthy, when you maintain a good sleep, and when you exercise, of course, exercise is going to help you to really be energized, and sometimes, many times, helps with feeling discouraged and feeling low self-esteem. So those are the things that I wanted for us to share today. Again, I'm just going to go over what I said just as a recap. The first one is that you have to acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge the feelings of discouragement, low self-esteem, and bring them to God. Talk to God about them. Talk to your therapist. Talk to a friend. Journal them. Talk to yourself. Just first of all, acknowledge what is going on inside of you. Don't try to suppress it. Don't just try to scroll and drink and suppress it, but acknowledge those feelings. The second thing is you have to find inspiration. What inspires you? Sometimes it's music. I like music. There is one lady I listened to for a long time, Mandisa. She's of blessed memories, but she had some songs that really gave me inspiration and motivation when I felt discouraged, when I felt low. And you just find what helps you find motivation. Sometimes it could be inspiring documentaries, people who have overcome similar challenges. It could just be, podcasts. Find what motivates you, not just mindless scrolling to numb those emotions. Some people, it's prayer, but find the motivation somewhere. We talked about David, who encouraged himself in the Lord. He prayed to the Lord and he got encouragement. The third thing is that you have to learn to say no. Setting boundaries is important in your journey to achieving your goals. It's important for you to gain self-esteem, because when you have those boundaries, whether it's time for you to take action on your project, or it's time for you to rest and rejuvenate, it's time for you for self-care, you're going to feel encouraged. And when you feel encouraged, you're going to be able to continue to press on to achieve your goals. The next thing is that despite discouragement, you have to take action. Despite fear, you have to take action. Sometimes discouragement is just a product of fear, but I've talked about affirmations many times. You can watch some of the videos which I have done on the Purpose Driven Life, or even some of the videos I talked about in the earlier days, and you realize that you have to, you have to take action despite fear. You have to speak to yourself, affirm yourself. You have to continue to encourage yourself, because when you do that, you're going to find the strength to keep taking action. And when you take action, even though you're afraid, even though you're feeling discouraged, you're going to reframe your mind to know that we do what we have to do. I'm not saying that, again, this comes after you acknowledge the emotion, not suppressing the emotion and then taking action. No, understanding that, okay, this is valid, but even when I'm afraid, I still have to take action. And then the last but not the least is take care of your physical well-being, your food, your diet, your sleep. And I'm encouraging you to fast, whether it's intermittent fasting, because that helps to clean out toxins from your body, that helps to clean out your system and revitalizes you in many ways. Of course, eating healthy and eating at the right times, because that is also going to continue to fuel your energy and make sure that you get encouraged, you're strengthened to continue to achieve your goals. So I want you to have that in mind as you're getting into your 2025 and preparing to take action. So hope you were blessed, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you tomorrow. Please like this video, make your comments, let me know if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so for more inspiring content. Remember, I am cheering for you. I believe in you. I believe that you're going to crush it. I believe that 2025, we're going to have so many amazing testimonies from the things that we've talked about, and just from the preparation that we are having for 2025, because preparation is key. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. But when we prepare, then we know that we are going to have good results. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful time. Bye-bye.